Hello, I'm Daniel Lane and welcome to The Tonk, where we'll be getting the English perspective of the Ashes series. We'll find out what they thought of the Australian attitude, the issues, and why Monty Panesar is chasing former world boxing champion Danny Green. And helping us to do that is Monty Panesar and Chris Barrett. Gentlemen, welcome to The Tonk.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us.
Great to have you here, Monty. The Ashes series. Australia weren't expected to win 5-0 by a lot of critics. England were the red-hot favourites. Mate, what happened?
Well, Australia, you've got to give credit to them. They obviously played really strong cricket. I thought from the first Test match in the first innings when we had 6 down, we were thinking we're going to probably put a strong hold on the Australians. But after that, I think they kind of just never let us get back in the series. Every Test match they came out really strong. They played some good cricket, and you've got to give credit to the Australians.
Chris, you covered the Ashes in England and you saw the English win that series 3-0. Were you surprised, by the way, how the Aussies went?
I didn't call it. Yeah, I got to say, I'm ashamed to say I thought England would win this series. And Monty's right. This game's all about momentum. And after the first day in Brisbane, we would have thought that this is England's series again. It was déjà vu. But that partnership between Brad Haddin and Mitchell Johnson, I reckon that's absolutely key in seizing the momentum. And Australia really haven't looked back from there. The other thing is, I think, conditions. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that in international cricket these days, conditions are just so key, aren't they? And that's why you've got so many teams doing well in their own backyard, but struggling away from home.
I think the aggression by the Australians was something that may have shocked a lot of people. I mean, Michael Clarke set that tone in the Gabba when he told Jimmy Anderson, prepare for a broken arm when Mitchell Johnson was steaming in. Monty, were you shocked by the Aussie approach?
Well, I think Australians, they had a mindset where they wanted to come, strong at the England players, and whatever is said on the field is sort of kept on the field. That's the part of gamesmanship and part of the competitive edge. And being in the Ashes, the competitiveness is obviously a little bit higher and is more at stake. And being at home, I think the Australians probably wanted to stamp their authority on the English cricket team, and they obviously wanted to have a few sledges out there just to sort of put us under pressure.
Yeah, look, I'm reliably informed there's a hell of a lot worse said on the field than that. I mean, the real reason is that was picked up by the stump microphone, wasn't there? As Monty says, there'd be this sort of stuff going on all the time. That's just part of cricket. The real thing, I think, that from looking from the outside that got at England was the bowling of Mitchell Johnson. I mean, real, genuine, fast, short bowling like that is just not what these guys are used to facing. And look, Monty did very well in Adelaide. I think you faced him for about an hour there, mate. You did better than most of the specialist batsmen, and I think you got badged as well, didn't you, at one point? But
yeah, I kept on. I think my first 20 balls were halfway down the track, and I was thinking, am I going to get a half volley or anything? I need to get off strike. They just kept on bombing me, ball after ball, and it was just one of them ones where you just thought, you just got to get stuck in here because they're going to obviously come hard at you and enjoy this challenge, because when number 11 you don't really get bombed as much as I got this series. But yeah, it's something you just it's part of cricket, and it's part of this sort of Test match cricket. When you're playing against a strong team, you got to try and at least face up to it.
The English team had a few disruptions. Jonathan Trott went home with what was called a stress-related problem. Graeme Swann retired mid-season. And then we hear that Kevin Pietersen, there may have been a rift or two in the camp. Monty, was it a happy team?
Well, I think, with any team, in sporting context, when you're going to lose your sort of couple of key players that we lost, throughout the mid-series, it's always going to be tough to hold it back. I remember when I was here in 07-06, we lost a couple of players there, and Jyla had to go back early, and I think Trez had to go back as well. So it's always difficult. When you're playing against another team, you really want just 12 players, 13 players that you look at. You don't want to go beyond that. And when one team starts doing that, then obviously the balance does shift a little bit. But I must say that the Australians, they've kept the sort of same 11, same 12, throughout the 5, Test match series, and I think that helped them to sort of grow, stronger as a team, and sort of, help keep that momentum going with them.
And these issues of disharmony, and at least speculation about disharmony, they certainly are fostered when you're losing as well. I mean, have a look at Australia last year. There were people at each other's throats in that regime, and they were using 17 players in a series, 18 players in a series. They were doing just what England did. They didn't really know who they were, and there was infighting going on and cliques and factions being formed, and that just happens. And look, I'm not inside the England camp, I don't know, but when you're losing 5-0 and when you're having one of the worst campaigns in Ashes history, I guess that's just a natural thing, and they've got to work out how they go forward, whether they keep the same captain, whether they keep the same coach, whether they keep Kevin Pietersen. I mean, Kevin Pietersen had a series that he won't be happy with, and he has to have a look at himself and think how much more he wants to give.
And I guess also the spin bowling spot in the English team is something that they need to look at. Monty, when Graeme Swann retired, a lot of Australians, we thought that you'd take the brunt of the bowling responsibilities as the spinner. You got limited opportunity in Melbourne and Sydney. You weren't picked. What happened there, mate? We were all surprised.
At Sydney, I obviously was a little bit, disappointed. Didn't get a chance. It was probably the first track of the series, which was a bit of a Bunsen burner. So I was kind of licking my fingers to get on that pitch. But I think we lost 4-0. They wanted to sort of, try new players in the team, see how they're like, give themselves a chance because, the Ashes was gone, and I think the England sort of selection and the management team, wanted to have a look at a few more players. So they picked 3 debutants, and they wanted to see what they're like at international stage.
I thought they got that horribly wrong in the 5th Test. I mean, look, I'm not just going to pump his tyres up because he's sitting here, but Monty should have played. I think, as you say, that wicket probably would have suited you. Monty has done well in the past against Australians. Look, I think Scott Borthwick's a handy young bowler. I think it's just too early for him. I mean, they threw him to the Lions, basically, in a game they didn't need to. I thought it was one of a couple of poor selections. I wouldn't have picked Boyd Rankin either after he hadn't played for 5 or 6 weeks. So, yeah, again, these sort of things happen. I suppose it was a dead rubber, if you like. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I'd still be picking my strongest team. And in terms of rebuilding, I mean, Graeme Swann's gone, and the bloke sitting next to me now would appear to be the England #1 spinner. I just don't understand why the top spinner in the country wouldn't be playing.
Well, we're going to get to see England's top spinner on Sunday. You're playing in a charity game for West Cricket Club, Battle of the Smashers. It's to raise money for the bushfire victims in the Blue Mountains before Christmas. Why are you playing? And I also understand that Danny Green, the world champion boxer, is very keen to bat against you. Are you going to give him the Piers Morgan treatment?
Well, he may give me a right hook if I get him out. So, I've got to be gentle on him. But maybe I'd like to get him out, stumped. Once in the air, once off the pitch. So that'd be twice. So I'll quite enjoy that. But yeah, I'm obviously looking forward to this. It's a charity, goes, and hopefully we can raise a lot of money. And Danny Green is obviously former world class boxer. So I'm looking forward to having a few blows with him. Yeah,
well, good luck to Danny Green. And look, thank you for watching the Tonk. That's it for this week. We'll be back to discuss the one-day action next week, and look forward to seeing you then.